I wasn't supposed to be in that alley. Not at that hour, not in that part of the city, not with the kind of things that slithered and shifted in the shadows. But rent was due. My boss was an asshole, and double shifts at the diner don't end early. The streets had emptied fast that night. Too fast, like something had brushed the edge of the collective instinct people didn't like to admit they still had. I kept my head down, hands deep in my coat pockets, keys between my fingers like claws, ready for nothing and everything. And then I heard it. A growl. Low, guttural animal. Not a dog. Not a cat. Not human. Something in between. Something wrong. I froze, breath caught in my throat. The sound echoed again, closer now, and I turned the corner into the alley, stupid, reckless, too curious for my own good. That's when I saw her. Crouched in the shadows, body tense like a coiled spring, golden eyes burning with something feral and wild and hungry. Her clothes were torn, barely hanging to her frame, and her skin was streaked with dirt and dried blood, old scars slashing across her arms like a map of exile. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. Maybe she hadn't. But when our eyes locked, it wasn't hunger for food I saw there. It was something else. Something primal.
And it was aimed at me.
I should have run. I should have screamed, backed away, called someone, anyone. But I didn't move.
Couldn't.
My legs wouldn't obey. Her eyes widened slightly, nostrils flaring like she was smelling something.
Me.
You, she rasped, voice rough and broken like gravel. Her lips parted. Mine. I blinked.
What?
Mine, she repeated, louder this time, her voice deepening, shifting into something that didn't belong to any human throat. And then she took a step forward. Wait, I said, backing up a little too late. You don't even know me. I do, she growled, and there was something in her voice, something ancient and absolute. You're mine. You're insane, I whispered. But I couldn't look away. My heart was racing, pulse pounding in my ears, and my skin. God, my skin was burning. She was terrifying, yes, but there was something else, something magnetic pulling me in. She took another step, and I stumbled back until my back hit the brick wall. Don't, I said, but it came out soft, shaky, unsure. She stopped, studied me, tilted her head like a wolf scenting wind. Then she crouched, lowering herself slowly, hands touching the ground like paws. You're human, she said, voice quieter now, confused. But no, not just human. What the hell are you talking about? I snapped, trying to regain control of the moment. She didn't answer, just stared. Then, suddenly, she recoiled, like something burned her, and hissed under her breath. It shouldn't be you, she muttered. But it is. Her face twisted into something pained. I felt it. Felt what? She looked at me like I was stupid. The bond. The what? Mate bond. I laughed, a short, hysterical sound. You think we're soulmates? I don't think, she growled. I know. She stood again, towering over me. The second I smelled you, I knew. You need help, I said, trying to slip past her. She didn't stop me, just followed with her eyes. You'll feel it soon, too. You'll see. Her voice was softer now, a whisper. It'll pull at you until you can't ignore it. I made it back onto the street, breath still caught somewhere between panic and something else. Something strange and warm and terrifying curling low in my stomach. I didn't look back. I didn't want to know if she was still watching me. I didn't want to admit that part of me hoped she was. That night, I dreamed of gold eyes and growls, of teeth dragging across skin, of being hunted and claimed. I woke up sweating, sheets tangled, my body aching in ways I couldn't explain. Something had shifted. Something was wrong. Or maybe something was waking up. The next morning, the alley was empty. No sign of her. No footprints, no blood, no scent. Nothing. As if she'd never been real. But I knew what I saw. And more than that, I knew what I felt. She had called me hers. And the scariest part? A piece of me had wanted to say it back. The city moved like nothing had changed. Cars honked. People rushed. Phones rang. But inside me, everything was wrong. Or right. Or something in between. I kept hearing her voice.
Mine.
That word stuck to me like smoke. It clung to my skin, echoed in my ears, curled through my thoughts like a scent I couldn't forget. And worse, my body remembered her. Not just her voice, but her presence. The way the air changed around her. The way her eyes had burned into mine like fire meeting gasoline. I hated how my skin tingled when I thought of her. I hated how, when I touched the spot on my neck where her breath had brushed me, it felt like a bruise made of heat. She wasn't real. Not really. Or at least, she wasn't possible. Shifters didn't look at humans like that. They didn't bond. Not with us. Everyone knew that. Everyone believed that. And yet, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Lucy. My coworker's voice cut through the fog. I jumped.
What?
You spaced out. Again. Sorry, I muttered, returning to the register, punching in a coffee order I didn't remember hearing. She raised a brow. You okay? I wasn't. Not even close. I was half feral with confusion.
Yeah.
Just tired. She snorted. You look like you've seen a ghost. Worse, I thought. I'd seen something alive. Too alive. Something that shouldn't have existed, and yet had stared me down like I belonged to her. That night, it got worse. The dreams weren't just dreams anymore. I felt her. Her body around mine. Her mouth on my neck. Her voice low and growling in my ear. You're mine.
Say it.
I woke up gasping, hand clenched in the sheets, skin flushed and trembling. It wasn't just desire. It was hunger. A need I didn't understand. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, I saw something else staring back. My eyes looked different, brighter, wilder, like something was trying to surface. On the third night, she came back. I felt her before I saw her. The shift in the air, the drop in temperature, the press of invisible eyes on my skin. I turned down my street and stopped cold. She was sitting on the curb outside my building, arms resting on her knees, golden eyes glowing under the streetlight like a predator waiting. I froze. You shouldn't be here. I had to be, she said simply. You felt it, didn't you? You need to leave. She stood slowly. You're not safe. From you? From what's coming? Her voice was deadly serious. You're exposed now. They'll smell it on you. Smell what? The bond. She took a step forward. I held my ground. Barely. I didn't agree to anything. The bond doesn't care. I'm human. It doesn't care about that either. My chest was tight. This is insane. It's real. She looked at me with something that wasn't pity. It was reverence.
Awe.
I've waited my whole life to feel it, and I never thought I would. Not after what I lost. What did you lose? I asked before I could stop myself. She looked away, jaw clenched. Everything. Why me?
I don't know, she said.
But the second I saw you, my bones knew. My wolf knew. Even my scars knew. Her voice cracked. You're the first thing that's ever made the pain quiet. My heart lurched. She wasn't just wild. She was broken. And yet, she stood in front of me like she'd kill the world if it tried to hurt me. I don't even know your name, I whispered. Aaron. And you were what? Banished. Her eyes darkened. They called me unfit, unstable, said I was too wild to lead. So they exiled me, told me I'd die alone. But you didn't. No, she stepped closer and I didn't move. Couldn't. Because then I found you. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to. It just is. She reached out, not touching me, just hovering near my cheek, fingers trembling. I won't force it, but I can't walk away either. The bond won't let me. And if something tries to take you from me, what? I challenged. You'll shift in the middle of the street? Her lips twitched. If I have to. That's not how this world works. It will be. And in that moment, I believed her. Not because I wanted to, but because the thing inside me, the part that pulsed with the same heat I saw in her, recognized her. My whole body went still, as if it had found what it didn't know it was searching for. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But I didn't. I just looked into her eyes and whispered, "I'm scared." She exhaled like I'd said something sacred. "So am I." Then she turned and walked away into the night, disappearing without a sound. But even after she vanished, her presence lingered like smoke. And I realized something horrifying. I missed her. I already missed her. The scent was wrong. I didn't know how I knew it, but I did. I was walking home from work 2 nights later. Same streets, same cracked sidewalks, same flickering streetlights. But something in the air had shifted. It was thicker, heavier. Like the city was holding its breath. I hugged my coat tighter, even though the night wasn't cold. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was just shaken from everything with Erin. From her words, her eyes, her presence that still lingered in every dark corner of my mind. I told myself she was a hallucination, a warning, a metaphor my brain invented to distract me from real-life loneliness. But then I smelled it. Wet earth, iron, fur, and something darker underneath, like rot. I stopped walking. My heart picked up its pace before I even understood why. Something was watching me. I could feel it in my spine. I turned my head slowly. Nothing. I walked faster. The sound of footsteps behind me made me break into a jog. I didn't dare look.
Didn't want to know.
Until I had to. I turned the corner, heart hammering, ready to scream, to fight, and slammed straight into a chest.
Hard. Not just solid.
Unmovable. I stumbled back. The man in front of me didn't. He was tall.
Broad.
Eyes too pale. Lips curled in a smirk that made my stomach turn. "Evening," he said, voice syrupy and cruel. I didn't answer. "You're Lucy, right?" My blood froze. "How do you know my name?" Let's just say word travels fast when a mutt marks a human. My breath caught. Mutt. Erin, he sneered. The outcast. The stray. The one who thinks she can rewrite nature. I took a step back. He followed. "You smell like her. It's pathetic, really." "Leave me alone," I said, but my voice was thin. He grinned.
"Why?"
"You're not claimed officially.
No ceremony.
No bite. No shift. Just a little scent and a whole lot of confusion. I'm calling the police. They won't get here in time." He took one more step, and I saw it. The flicker in his eyes. The animal behind them. "Don't touch her." The voice came from behind me. It was low, final,
And deadly.
"Erin." I didn't need to turn. I felt her, like gravity, had just locked into place. The man's eyes narrowed. There she is, the infamous exile. Erin walked past me slowly, placing her body between his and mine. Her frame looked smaller than his, lighter, but every inch of her radiated threat.
Power. "She's not yours," he said.
"She's not yours either," Erin replied. "She hasn't accepted the bond. But she smells like you. Touch her," Erin growled, "and I'll show you what else I can do." The air crackled. I swear I heard a low rumble from deep in her chest. The man tilted his head. "You're a disgrace to our kind. You think mating with a human will change what you are." "No," she said, her voice like steel. "But it might save what's left of me." He moved fast, so fast I barely saw it, but Erin was faster. Her hand caught his wrist midair, twisted, and something cracked. He howled. I screamed. Erin shoved him back, eyes glowing, fangs half-shifted. "Leave," she said, "or I'll bury you where you stand." He held his arm, eyes furious. "This isn't over." "It is if you want to keep your other hand." He vanished into the shadows with a snarl. My knees gave out. Erin caught me before I hit the ground. Her arms were solid, warm, real. "You okay?" she whispered, voice trembling. I nodded, even though I wasn't. She looked down at me, concern etched into every scar on her face. "He followed your scent. They all will now." "Why?" I asked, voice shaking. "Why would they care?" "Because you're mine," she said. And they hate when something wild finds something worth loving. You scared him, I whispered. You scared me. Good, she said, gently brushing hair from my face. You should be scared. This world is cruel. But I'll tear it apart before I let it take you. Love what you've seen so far and want to help me keep creating these awesome stories on this channel? Then subscribe and hit the bell. Your subscription supports the channel and makes sure you get more exciting stories. My breath caught. Why do you care so much? Because the moment I found you, the silence stopped. Her eyes were soft now. You made everything quiet. You made me quiet. I don't know if I can do this, I whispered. You don't have to know yet. She leaned closer, forehead brushing mine. Let me stay near. Let me protect you. I didn't say yes, but I didn't pull away either. And that silence she talked about, I heard it too in that moment. A stillness I hadn't felt in years. As if everything inside me had finally stopped screaming. But under that silence, something else was growing. Heat. Hunger.
Curiosity. Need.
Something that had claws of its own that I didn't plan to let her in. Not really. But when we reached the threshold of my apartment and I turned to say goodbye, Erin was already watching the shadows behind us like they held teeth.
She didn't ask.
She didn't have to. I opened the door and she followed me inside without a sound. The moment it clicked shut behind us, the silence was loud. I leaned back against the door, heartbeat still climbing from everything that had just happened, my skin electric from the nearness of her. She stood in the center of my living room like she didn't belong there. Too wild, too raw, too dangerous. And yet she belonged more than anyone ever had. You shouldn't have followed me, I said, barely above a whisper. I had to. You can't just decide you're my protector. I didn't decide.
The bond did.
I crossed my arms. That's not how the world works. It's how my world works. Her voice was calm, but firm. And whether you believe it or not, it's working in you too. I wanted to laugh, to scream, to deny her, because what she said terrified me. But I couldn't deny the truth. She was right. My body knew her, responded to her, hungered for her in a way I couldn't explain. And the moment she walked in, some invisible thread inside me went taut, like it had been waiting for her return. What do you want from me? I asked. To keep you safe. That's not all. Her jaw tensed. She looked away. No, she admitted. It's not. Then tell me the rest. She met my gaze again. The gold in her eyes was brighter now, swirling, alive. I want to know you. All of you. What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? What kind of coffee you drink, and what songs you scream in the shower? She stepped closer. I want to earn your trust. I want you to look at me one day and not be afraid. My breath caught. And I want you to say my name the way I've said yours in my dreams. I want you to choose him. I blinked. What if I don't? Then I'll walk away, she said, and I believed her. But not until I know you're safe. Not until I know they won't come for you. You said others would smell me. Because of the bond. She nodded. They already do. And they won't like it. Why? Because I'm not supposed to have anything. Especially not you. Then maybe you shouldn't be here. Maybe not, she said, voice rough. But here I am. The silence stretched again, thicker this time. I turned away, walking to the kitchen, needing distance, needing air. I grabbed a glass of water, tried to steady my hands. I could feel her behind me, even without turning. Her presence was too sharp to ignore. Are you hungry? I asked suddenly. Yes. I turned. Her eyes were fixed on me. For food, I mean, I added, flustered. That too, she murmured. My skin flushed. I cleared my throat. There's pasta. I can heat it up. She nodded, sitting at the edge of my couch like she didn't quite trust furniture. I brought her a plate. She ate like she hadn't tasted a real meal in weeks, maybe months. When she was done, she leaned back, eyes drifting closed for just a second. And for the first time, she looked human. Tired. Breakable. You can sleep here, I said. On the couch. Her eyes opened. You don't have to do that. I want to. And I didn't know why I meant it, but I did. Something about her being close settled something in me. Like a piece that had been loose inside my chest suddenly clicked into place. Thank you, she whispered. She stretched out, her long frame barely fitting the couch, and I handed her a spare blanket. Good night, Erin. Good night, Lucy. But I couldn't sleep. Not really. I lay in my bed, listening to her breathing in the next room, hyper-aware of every sound, every shift of her body against the cushions. And then a whimper.
Low. Pained.
I sat up. Another whimper followed, then a gasp, then a growl. I got up slowly, stepped into the living room. Erin was thrashing, caught in a dream, her body shimmering, shifting, like the wolf inside her was trying to break through. Erin, I said, kneeling beside her. She didn't wake. Hey, Erin, it's okay. Her eyes snapped open, bright gold, glowing. Her hand shot out, grabbing my wrist. Her grip was iron. I didn't flinch. It's me, I said softly. You're safe. Her breathing slowed. Her grip loosened. And then she looked at me like I was the only thing tethering her to this world. Nightmares? I asked. Always. You can stay in my room, I said before I could stop myself. Just to rest. It might help. She hesitated. I don't want to scare you. You don't. She stood and followed me silently. I got into bed, heart pounding. She laid on top of the covers beside me, tense, rigid like a guard dog. I turned on my side, facing her. Her eyes were already on me. You're not what I expected, I whispered. Neither are you, she replied. Silence again. But this one was different.
Softer.
Warmer. I reached out without thinking, brushing my fingers against her hand. She shuddered. What are you doing to me? She whispered. I could ask you the same thing. And just like that, the distance between us evaporated. I leaned forward, slowly. She didn't stop me. Our lips hovered, breath mingling. The air between us charged like lightning waiting to strike. But I pulled back at the last second. Not yet, I said. Her voice cracked. Okay. But her eyes promised, soon. The morning after felt different. The city outside was still gray, the same haze in the sky, same hum of traffic and sirens and life, but something had shifted between us. Not that we talked about it. Erin had already moved to the other side of the room by the time I opened my eyes, sitting cross-legged on the floor, like she'd been meditating or guarding, or maybe both. Her back was straight, shoulders tense, every inch of her alert. I sat up slowly, the silence between us crackling with everything we hadn't said, everything we'd almost done. She glanced at me, eyes flicking over my face like a habit she hadn't learned to hide. Did you sleep? I asked. Not really. Because of the nightmares? She nodded, barely. You? I think I did, I admitted. But I kept waking up, listening for you. Her expression softened. I was listening too. The words settled between us like a promise we weren't ready to name. I stood and stretched, my body remembering the nearness of hers more than my mind wanted to admit. I made coffee, handed her a mug, and she stared at it like she didn't know what to do with it. You've had coffee before, right? I teased. Not in a long time. She took a sip, made a face, then sipped again. Why is it bitter? Because it's real. So are you. I froze, heat rushing up my spine. That wasn't a compliment, I said quickly. Yes, it was, she said without blinking. I rolled my eyes and turned away, heart thundering, cheeks burning. That day, we didn't leave the apartment. Erin said it was too risky, that the shifter from 2 nights ago might have left a scent trail behind, and others could follow. I didn't argue. I didn't want to admit how safe I felt with her inside. How the air seemed to settle, how the corners of the room didn't feel as sharp when she was nearby. But by nightfall, I was pacing. I can't stay locked in forever, I said. I have a life. You had a life, she said. Now you have me. That's not how this works. It is if you want to stay alive. Do you always get to decide that for people? Her jaw clenched. I'm trying to keep you breathing. And I'm trying to stay sane. She moved toward me, slow, deliberate. You want to know what's out there? She asked. You want to see what happens to humans who walk around smelling like bonded mates? I didn't answer. I couldn't. You think I'm the dangerous one, she whispered, stepping even closer. But I'm the only thing keeping them from tearing you apart. I swallowed hard. Then show me. Her eyes narrowed. What? You say you're protecting me from monsters. I want to see what you're protecting me with. She went still. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me anyway. For a long moment, she didn't move. Then, slowly, she turned and walked toward the window, pulling the curtain closed. The room dimmed. You can't tell anyone, she said. I wouldn't even know how. She turned to face me, something fierce and ancient rising behind her eyes. Don't run. I won't. Don't scream. I can't promise that. Her lips twitched, almost a smile. And then her body began to shift. It started at her hands. Fingers shortening, bones cracking, skin darkening to fur as claws pushed through. Her shoulders widened, spine arching. Her jaw dislocated with a sickening sound, elongating, teeth stretching past her lips. Her clothes tore, unable to contain the transformation. She didn't fall to the floor. She flowed, folding into herself, then expanding, her body reshaping like liquid made of muscle and bone. And then, where Aaron had stood, there was a wolf. Not just a wolf. A beast. Massive. Silver-black fur glinting in the low light. Eyes still that same burning gold. She was beautiful.
Terrifying. Holy.
My breath caught. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I stepped forward.
Her ears twitched.
She didn't move. Aaron, I whispered. The wolf tilted her head. It's you, I said.
It's really you.
She let out a low sound. Not a growl, but a kind of whimper. Her body was trembling. That's when I realized it wasn't from the shift. It was from fear. She was afraid of what I'd do, of how I'd look at her now. So I reached out, slowly, and touched her fur. It was warm.
Coarse. Alive.
Her eyes fluttered closed. I stepped closer, resting my hand on her back. I'm not scared of you, I whispered. I'm scared of what this means. But not of you. She made a sound, low and rough, and nudged her massive head into my shoulder. I leaned into her, let the silence wrap around us again. But then a sound. Outside. A scrape. A snarl. Erin jerked her head up. Her ears snapped toward the door. And before I could speak, she had shifted again. This time faster, fiercer. Bones snapping as she returned to her human form, crouched and naked but for the shadows. Get back, she hissed. Someone's here. The knock came a second later. Then the door burst open. A figure rushed in, taller than Aaron, bulkier, wearing a long coat, face partially shifted, fangs visible.
He didn't speak.
He lunged. Aaron met him midair with a roar. They crashed into the wall, teeth and claws and fists flying. I screamed, ducked, tried to grab something, anything. Aaron was faster, but he was stronger. He threw her against the table, and it shattered beneath her. Aaron! I screamed. She got up bleeding, eyes blazing, lips curled back. You don't touch what's mine, she snarled, then launched at him again. This time, she didn't hold back. Her fist slammed into his jaw. He reeled, then shifted, his arms thick with fur, claws slicing through the air. Aaron ducked, moved behind him, leapt onto his back and drove him into the floor. She raised her hand, half-shifted, claws gleaming, and slashed across his throat. He let out a strangled cry, then collapsed, breathing shallow. Not dead.
But down.
Aaron stood over him, panting, covered in blood that wasn't all his. She turned to me. Her body was shaking, her eyes wild. Are you okay? She rasped. I couldn't speak. I just nodded. She stumbled forward and dropped to her knees in front of me. I told you, she whispered. They'll come. They'll keep coming. I fell to my knees too, grabbing her face in my hands.
Then stay.
Stay here. I don't care anymore. I need you. Her eyes widened. Lucy, I don't understand it. I don't know what this bond is supposed to be, but I feel it. And I want you. Her breath hitched. I leaned in and kissed her. This time, I didn't stop. Her lips were warm, urgent, blood-slicked but real. She kissed me back like she'd been starving. And maybe she had. We broke apart, gasping, foreheads touching. I'm yours, I whispered. Not because of the bond. Because I choose you. She exhaled like she'd been holding that breath for years. And I'll protect you until my last breath. Her voice cracked. You have no idea what that promise means. Then show me. Outside, the city howled. But inside, all I could hear was the sound of her heart against mine. The blood was still drying on the floor when Erin said we had to leave. She didn't ask. She didn't beg. She just stood in the middle of the wreckage, her shirt torn, her knuckles bruised, and said, "Pack a bag. Only what you can carry." I didn't argue. I grabbed my backpack, threw in clothes, water, chargers, the photo of my mom I kept on my nightstand. I didn't ask where we were going. I only knew that I wanted to be with her needed to. After what had happened, there was no returning to normal. The only thing left was us. We left through the fire escape, Erin moving like a shadow in front of me, always scanning, always ready. Her body was tense, every muscle primed like a wire pulled too tight. She didn't speak until we were miles outside the city, surrounded by trees, stars overhead, the highway a distant whisper behind us. We'll be safe here for a while, she said. I looked around. Nothing but pines, dark earth, and sky. Where is here? Old territory. Abandoned. It belonged to my bloodline before they exiled me. She crouched near a hollowed tree trunk and began clearing branches, revealing a narrow opening beneath. Come on. I hesitated. This is where you grew up? Close enough. I followed her down into a cavern-like shelter. Natural stone, the air damp and earthy. There was a fire pit, unused for years. Animal bones. A rusted kettle. I didn't have words. It's not much, she said, but it's safe. And right now, that's all we need. She was wrong. I needed more. I needed her. Not just her protection. I needed the truth. I needed the whole of her. I waited until the fire was lit, and we were sitting across from each other, the orange glow casting wild shadows on her face. Tell me about them, I said. The ones who cast you out. Her jaw tightened. They feared what I was becoming, which was strong, different. I didn't want to follow their rules. I didn't want to submit. So they punished you. They marked me, scarred me, banished me from the territory, said I was cursed. She looked into the flames. I believed them for a long time. Do you still? Sometimes. Her eyes met mine. But then I met you. Something inside me twisted. Erin, she shook her head. No one ever chose me, Lucy. Not really. I was a burden. A mistake. Too wild. Too angry. But when I saw you, I felt something in me stop. And I hadn't felt stillness in years. My heart cracked open. You keep saying I saved you, I whispered. But you're the one fighting for me. Because you're worth fighting for. She stood, paced. I never wanted a mate. I didn't believe I deserved one. But now that I've found you, she looked at me like I was both salvation and doom. I don't know how to not want you. My breath hitched. I crossed the space between us slowly, placed my hand on her chest. Her heartbeat was frantic beneath my palm. Then don't fight it, I whispered. I'm done running. I'm here. With you. Her eyes searched mine. You say that now, but no, I cut in. No more fear. No more half-truths. If we're bonded, if this thing between us is real, then stop hiding from it. She stared at me like I'd struck her. And then she kissed me. Hard. Desperate. Like she'd been waiting for permission to breathe. Her hands cupped my face, her body pressed into mine, and I opened for her like I'd been waiting for this since the first time I saw her. We didn't stop. Couldn't. Not this time. Our clothes fell to the floor, forgotten. Her skin was hot against mine. Every scar's story, I wanted to learn by touch. She was trembling, not from fear, but from holding back too long. I kissed every inch I could reach, hands gripping her hips, her waist, her shoulders. She gasped my name like it was sacred. Lucy. I rolled her onto the furs laid across the stone floor, straddled her, looked down at her wild, beautiful face. You're not cursed, I whispered. You're chosen. You're mine. Her eyes filled with something soft and wild and breaking. Say it again. You're mine. She pulled me down, mouths crashing, bodies moving like we were made to find each other in every possible way. Our bond wasn't a gentle thing. It was fire.
Teeth.
Nails and skin. Breathless gasps. And then stillness. Not the kind that comes from silence. The kind that comes from belonging. We lay tangled in each other, her head on my chest, my fingers trailing down her spine. Her breathing was slow now. This is dangerous, she whispered. I know. If they find us again, then we fight, I said. Together. She didn't answer, but I felt her nod against me. The next day, the forest felt heavier. The birds weren't singing. The wind was still. Erin noticed it first. Her body stiffened, every instinct on high alert. Something's wrong, she said. What do you mean? They're close. I stood, heart racing. The same ones. No, she said. Worse. She looked back at me. Someone from before. Someone I thought was dead. I froze. Who? Her eyes darkened. Alec. She said the name like a curse. He was my second, before I was exiled. He was the one who turned on me. Why would he come now? Because he thinks I'm weak. Because I've found something he can take from me. Her gaze locked on mine. You. My stomach dropped. We have to run. He'll track us. He always could. Then we fight. He's not like the others. He doesn't follow rules. He doesn't care about honor. He'll go through you to break me. Let him try. Don't say that, she snapped. You don't know what he's capable of. Then tell me. He used to be my brother. I stared at her. By blood. By bond. She looked away. And he's the only one who knows how to kill me. Silence fell like ash. I stepped closer, placed my hand on her chest again. Then we don't let him get close enough. She looked at me like I was made of light. You're not afraid anymore. I'm still afraid, I said. But loving you scares me less than losing you. She exhaled. Then we make our stand. Here. No, she turned toward the forest. Where it all began. The old territory. The ruins of it. Her eyes gleamed. If I'm going to end this, I'll do it on the bones of what they tried to take from me. I nodded. Then let's go. She smiled, just a little. You keep surprising me. Get used to it. She grabbed my hand. And together, we walked into the woods, toward war, toward fate, toward whatever came next, hand in hand, hearts aligned, wolves at our backs. The forest felt older here, wilder. The trees towered like ancient judges, branches clawing the gray sky, the air thick with damp moss and memory. We walked in silence, but it wasn't the awkward kind. It was the kind that said everything had been spoken already, that our bodies understood the weight of what was coming. Erin moved ahead of me, her eyes scanning every branch, every broken root. Her body was coiled with instinct, every step deliberate. She didn't need to tell me we were close. I felt it too. The ground seemed to hum. The very air tasted like ash and iron. The ruins emerged like ghosts through the trees, stone foundations covered in ivy and rot, remnants of what was once a stronghold. This is where your pack lived? I asked, voice low. Erin nodded. Before they turned on me. Before they tried to rip the wolf out of me. Her jaw clenched. They failed. The words were soft but sharp. She knelt beside a stone slab and ran her hand over a carved sigil. That was the altar, she said, where they sealed bonds, and where they broke mine. I swallowed. This place is sacred. It was. Now it's just bones and shadows. And Alec? I asked. Would he come here? He'd want me to, she said. He always liked symmetry, ending me where it began. Her fingers twitched, and he'd never come alone. I looked around. Then we need to move. Set a trap. Something. No, she stood. We don't run. Not here. Not anymore. I opened my mouth to protest, but then I felt it. The shift. Not in the earth. In the air. Like something had stopped breathing. Aaron's eyes went gold. He's here. They didn't come like animals. They came like soldiers. Silent. Efficient. Shadows peeling from trees, stepping into the clearing with eyes that glowed and fangs already showing. There were 5,
6, 7.
but my eyes found him instantly. Alec. He looked like Aaron. Same height, same gold stare, same scars. But there was no warmth in him, no soul, just ice and control. Sister, he said, his voice smooth and cruel. You brought your pet. Aaron stepped forward, shielding me without hesitation. You came for a fight. I'll give you one. I came for balance, Alec said. You broke the law, bonded with a human. You polluted our bloodline. Our bloodline was already polluted, with fear and cowardice. Alec's face twisted. You should have died when we cast you out. You should have died when you tried. A low growl rumbled from Aaron's throat. Alec's eyes flicked to me. Does she even know what you've done? The things you had to become just to survive. Aaron didn't flinch. She knows enough. But does she know what happens if the bond is broken? He asked, tilting his head. Tell her, sister. Tell her what happens to a shifter when her mate dies. My heart stopped. Aaron said nothing. Oh, Alec grinned. She doesn't know. You didn't tell her. Don't, Aaron growled. Tell her how your soul tears in half, how your mind turns inside out, how you lose control and turn feral. Tell her what she's done to you. Enough. Aaron's voice shook the trees. She stepped forward, eyes glowing, bones shifting under her skin. You want to fight? Let's finish it. Alec dropped his coat. His body rippled, cracked, shifted. His pack followed suit, shifting in waves of fur and teeth and bone. I should have been afraid. I was afraid. But I didn't run. I stood my ground. Because this wasn't just her fight. It was ours. Aaron shifted in front of me, her wolf form powerful, elegant, massive. She let out a howl. Deep, piercing, defiant. And then chaos erupted. Wolves collided. Fangs tore. Blood sprayed. I couldn't track it all. Fur flashing, claws slashing, snarls splitting the air. But I saw Erin. The way she moved. The way she fought. Not like a beast. Like a storm. She took down 2 wolves in seconds, her body all precision and fury. But Alec was worse. He moved like water and fire, unpredictable and brutal. He met Erin midair, and they crashed into the altar stone with a sickening crack. She yelped, rolled, sprang back up, her flank bleeding. Alec lunged again. This time, he got her. His teeth closed around her shoulder, dragging her down. No, I screamed. I ran forward, adrenaline drowning my fear. I grabbed a broken branch, slammed it into the nearest wolf's ribs. It howled, staggered. I ducked, rolled, grabbed a rock, anything. Erin was still fighting, but Alec had the upper hand. He pinned her, jaws around her throat. Say goodbye, he snarled. I didn't think. I felt. And then I screamed her name. Erin. Everything froze. Alec looked up. And in that split second, she turned the tide. Erin surged upward, slamming her head into his jaw. He reeled. She twisted, sank her teeth into his leg, pulled. He went down. She leapt onto him, her body a blur of fury and vengeance. And then, her jaws closed around his throat. There was a snap. Silence. Alec's body went limp. The other wolves fled, tails tucked, vanishing into the trees. Erin stood over him, panting, fur soaked in blood. And then she shifted, knees hitting the ground, chest heaving, naked, broken, alive. I ran to her, dropped beside her. I thought, I'm okay, she whispered. You saved me. We saved each other, I said. She leaned into me, forehead against mine. You shouldn't have come. I'll always come. She let out a shaky laugh. You're going to be the death of me. No, I said, holding her face. I'm the reason you're alive. And then I kissed her, hard and deep and full of everything I couldn't say. Her hands pulled me close, her body trembling against mine. It's over, she breathed. He's gone. Then what now? I asked. She looked at me like I was the beginning of the world. Now we build something new. You and me. But I saw it in her eyes. This wasn't the end. Not really. Because when you kill a wolf, the whole forest feels it. And something deeper was stirring. Watching. Waiting. The morning after Alex's death was too quiet. The forest held its breath, the air heavier, thicker, like it was waiting for something. Erin and I didn't speak much as we cleaned the blood from our skin in a freezing stream nearby. Her movements were sharp and tense, and I could feel the shift in her. Something primal had stirred, something that hadn't fully gone back to sleep. The bond between us pulsed with a strange new energy, a mix of power and unease. I reached for her hand as we walked back toward the ruins. She didn't pull away, but her grip was firmer than usual, protective in a way that made my chest ache. He's really gone, I whispered. Alec. Yes, she said. But she didn't sound victorious. Just hollow. He was family, I said gently. Once. He chose power over loyalty, over truth. She paused. But part of me still remembers him before everything broke. Before I broke. I wanted to say something, to ease the weight in her voice, but the sky cracked with the sound of wings before I could. Massive ones. Not birds. Not shifters. Something older. Something worse. Erin stiffened. We have to run. What is that? The Enclave. She looked up, face pale. They sent the seers. Who? The oldest. The ones who enforce balance. Her voice dropped. They don't take sides. They only take blood. We didn't make it far. Before we could clear the ruins, 3 figures appeared between the trees, cloaked, silver-eyed, their feet never quite touching the ground. I never felt fear like that. My instincts screamed. My bones wanted to fold inward. My skin itched with the urge to disappear. Erin Cale of the cast outline. One of them said, You have disturbed the balance. Erin stepped in front of me. I did what I had to. You broke the exile by returning to sacred ground. To stop a murder. You killed your kin. To protect my mate. The word echoed like thunder. The seers turned toward me. One tilted its head. Human, it said. You carry her scent. Her mark. Her fire. I swallowed. I chose her. I'm not afraid of your laws. Then you are a fool. Erin growled. Enough. If it's me you want, take me. But leave her out of this. It's not that simple, the seer said. A death within the bloodline creates imbalance. Alec's soul has not returned to the earth. You must complete the rite. What rite? I asked. Erin's face went rigid. Blood for blood. I have to sever the last of my bond to the line. How? I have to bleed out the remnants of his mark. Every memory. Every tie. That sounds painful. It is. The seer stepped forward, its voice hollow. Or the human may take the burden. What? We said in unison. The bond is fresh. Still open. If she drinks from you under moonlight, she will absorb the mark. The guilt. The pain. It will no longer be yours. No, Erin said instantly. Absolutely not. You would rather die? I would rather burn than see her suffer like I have. I grabbed Erin's arm. Stop. What are they saying? That I can take your pain. You don't understand. It's not symbolic. It's real. You'll feel everything I've felt. Every betrayal. Every scar. Every moment I wanted to die alone in the dirt. Then let me. Her head snapped to me. No, I choose this, I said. Just like I chose you. It'll change you, Lucy. I've already changed. The seers began to chant, low and melodic, ancient words brushing against my skin like smoke. Midnight, the center seer said. The rite must be done by moonrise. Then they vanished.
Just like that.
Like they were never there. We stood in silence for a long time. Erin looked like she wanted to scream.
Or cry. Or break something.
You don't have to do this, she said again. But I want to.
Why?
Because I'd rather carry your pain than ever watch you drown in it. Lucy, her voice cracked. Don't save me like this. Not like this. Then let me be strong for you for once. She looked away, jaw clenched. I hate this. I know. But if you go through with this, she turned back to me, cupping my face. You'll feel things no human should feel. Then hold me through it. That night, under the cold light of the rising moon, Erin made a small cut along her palm. The blood shimmered, not red, but silver-black, pulsing with something deeper than life. She pressed it to my lips, and I didn't hesitate. I drank. The taste was sharp, metallic, electric, and then pain. Not physical. Not at first. Memories. Not mine. Hers. Running barefoot through snow, hunted, hands bound, fangs at her neck. Betrayal. Exile. Cold. So much cold. Then love.
Once. Briefly.
A girl with green eyes. A kiss under rain. Then screams.
Fire.
The girl turning her back. Another scar. Another name added to the list of those who left. The ache was unbearable. But I didn't stop. I let it flood me. And Erin held me through all of it, rocking me as I sobbed, whispering, I'm here, you're safe. Even as the bond flared and cracked and reformed stronger. The seers appeared again as dawn broke. They nodded once. The rite is complete. The balance holds. You are marked by blood now, both of you. Your bond is known. And it is watched. Watched by who? I asked. But they vanished again. Erin helped me lie back against the furs. Her fingers trembled as she brushed hair from my face. You did it, she whispered. We did it. I felt everything. I know. You've survived so much pain. And now you carry it with me. I looked into her eyes. I'd carry 10 lifetimes of it if it meant keeping you. She kissed me then, soft and slow, like I was the first warmth she'd ever known. We didn't sleep. We just held each other, the bond between us molten and unbreakable. But deep in the forest, something else stirred. Because when a bond this powerful is formed, it doesn't go unnoticed. The seers were only the beginning. And what was coming next would demand more than blood. It would demand fire. It started with a sound. Not outside. Inside me. A low hum in my chest that pulsed in time with my heartbeat, soft at first, like a whisper under my skin. But by the third night after the rite, it had become a growl. Erin noticed it before I said anything. We were camped beside a cold creek deeper in the woods, far from the ruins, our temporary shelter tucked beneath a wall of jagged stone. She watched me from across the fire, her eyes sharp with concern. You've been different since the rite, she said. I'm fine, I lied. I can feel it in your scent, she replied. You're changing. Is that even possible?
No, she said.
It shouldn't be. But we both knew better. That night, I couldn't sleep. My skin itched. My bones ached like they were trying to rearrange themselves. My dreams were wild, filled with claws and teeth and a forest that moved around me like it was alive. When I woke, I wasn't alone in my body. Something else was there. Watching. Listening. Erin found me crouched near the creek, hands pressed into the earth, breathing like I'd just run for miles. Lucy, she said gently approaching. It's happening, isn't it? I looked at her, and the fear must have shown in my eyes. I don't know what's happening, I whispered. I feel like I'm splitting. You shouldn't be able to shift, she said. Humans don't. Not even bonded ones. Then what am I becoming? She touched my cheek. Something new. We didn't have long to make sense of it. The message came the next morning, burned into the bark of a tree near our camp, scorched into the wood by some magic I didn't understand. The high circle summons Erin Kale. If she does not appear, she will be hunted. The mate will be considered extinct. I guess they don't believe in subtlety, I muttered. Aaron didn't laugh. They're ancient. They rule through fear. What is the Circulo Alto exactly? I asked. The first bloodlines. Elders. Alphas who kept themselves out of time. They govern everything from the shadows. They don't just enforce law. They are the law. And they're summoning you? They see our bond as a violation. Something unnatural. They want to make an example out of us. What happens if you go? They'll try to break me.
Humiliate me.
Maybe worse. And if you don't, they'll hunt us.
She looked at me.
They'll rip you apart just to prove a point. So we fight. We can't fight them, Lucy. They're not like Alec. They don't bleed like we do. I stood up, my skin burning again. That hum in my chest was stronger now, like a vibration in my very bones. Then we don't go alone. What do you mean? We find allies. There have to be others like you, like us. No one will stand against the circle. Then we find someone who will. Her name was Calyx, a rogue seer, exiled for breaking an oath. Aaron had met her once, years ago. Said she lived in the wastelands beyond the river, where the trees thinned and the soil turned red. It took us 2 days to reach her. Every mile, I felt the thing inside me stirring more. My hearing sharpened. My sight grew strange, too sharp at night, too sensitive by day. Once, I caught a rabbit scent before Aaron did. She pretended not to notice, but I saw the tension in her jaw. I'm not human anymore, I whispered. She didn't answer. Calyx was nothing like I expected. She was short, older, eyes like black mirrors, voice like smoke. Her den was hidden beneath a root system that glowed faintly in the dark. You brought the half-wolf, she said the moment she saw me. Interesting. We need your help, Aaron said. The circle, I know, Calyx interrupted. They felt the right. They felt her. She pointed a bony finger at me. You opened something that was never meant to be opened. Can it be undone? Aaron asked. No, Calyx said. But it can be finished. Finished how? I asked. Calyx walked around me in a slow circle. You're shifting, but not fully. The bond unlocked potential in you. But your body doesn't know what to be. You're tearing at the seams. So fix it. Not here. Calyx looked at Aaron. The only place strong enough to hold the completion of this bond is the hollow. The hollow's forbidden, Aaron said. Exactly, Calyx smiled. Which is why the circle can't touch you there. Why is it forbidden? I asked. Because it's the birthplace of the first shifter, and the place where they buried the ones who tried to make humans like them. My mouth went dry. Perfect. We left that night. The journey to the hollow was brutal. Snow in the higher cliffs, winds that howled like wolves. Aaron stayed close, always watching, always shielding. And I changed. My reflexes quickened. My dreams became visions. My body burned at night with an ache I couldn't explain. And the bond between us, God, it pulsed like wildfire. She touched my wrist one night, and I almost collapsed from the intensity of it. You're becoming more like me, she whispered. No, I whispered back. I'm becoming something with you. When we finally reached the hollow, the sky had turned the color of ash. The cave mouth gaped before us, ringed with ancient glyphs. Calyx had warned us. Once we entered, there'd be no turning back. The rite of completion required sacrifice. I stepped forward anyway. Aaron grabbed my hand. Are you ready? I've never been readier for anything. She pulled me into a kiss, slow and trembling. No matter what happens in there, I love you. Then nothing else matters. We entered the hollow. The darkness swallowed us whole. And somewhere deep inside, something ancient awoke. The final test of our bond had begun. The hollow was alive. Not with light or heat, but with memory. It pulsed around us like a heartbeat buried in the stone, whispering old things in a language that wasn't made for mouths. The moment we crossed the threshold, the air thickened. Not with fog, not with scent, but with power. Ancient, judgmental, watching. Aaron stayed close, her hand never leaving mine, even as the walls grew narrower and the darkness deeper. There were no torches, no fire. The light came from within the stone itself, pale veins glowing dimly, like moonlight trapped beneath skin. "This place hates me," she whispered. "It doesn't hate you," I said. "It's just waiting to see who we are." "It knows who I am," she muttered. "It knows what I've done. Then we show it who we choose to be." We reached the heart of the hollow, a wide circular chamber carved by nature and time. At the center stood an altar of black stone, its surface scarred with claw marks, symbols etched into its sides, shifting slightly when I blinked, as if they were alive. "This is it," Aaron said. "Once we begin, there's no leaving until it's done." "What is the rite of completion?" I asked. "It's not just about the bond," she said quietly. "It's about surrender. You give yourself fully. Body, soul, memory, pain, everything. And if the hollow deems the bond unworthy," she didn't finish the sentence. "She didn't have to. Then let it see us," I said, stepping forward. "Let it see everything." I climbed onto the altar and held out my hand. "Come with me." Erin hesitated only a second. Then she took my hand and climbed up beside me. The stone trembled beneath our feet. The glyphs began to glow brighter, shifting from blue to silver to gold. A wind stirred from nowhere, curling around us like breath. And then voices. Hundreds, thousands, echoing from the walls, the ceiling, the ground beneath our feet. Two souls. One bond. Human and shifter. Broken line and newborn flame. You stand before the origin. Do you come to bind or to burn? Erin's voice was steady. "We come to bind. Are you willing to give your past?" "Yes." "Are you willing to give your pain?" "Yes." "Are you willing to give your power?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." The voices turned to me. "And you, human? Are you willing to become what cannot be undone?" "Yes." "Are you willing to share her burden, her curse, her name?" "Yes." "Are you willing to bleed for love?" I looked at Erin, at her scars, at the fire in her eyes. "Yes." The altar split open beneath our feet, not enough to drop us, just enough to release something ancient, a light that poured upward like liquid moonlight, wrapping around our bodies, crawling into our skin. My bones screamed. My blood boiled. I dropped to my knees as the light surged through me, and Erin caught me before I fell. "Lucy." "I'm okay," I gasped. It hurts." "It's rewriting you," she whispered, "shaping you to fit the bond." My skin burned. My teeth ached. My hands curled into claws I didn't have. I could feel her inside me, Erin. Not just emotionally, spiritually. Our bond stretched, tangled, twisted, and then locked into place. Something snapped inside me, a soundless crack. And when I looked up, the hollow had changed. Everything was brighter. The glyphs had gone still, and the voices had quieted. Except for one. "It is done." We collapsed into each other's arms. I was shaking. She was crying. And when our lips met, the hollow didn't resist. It rejoiced. We left at sunrise. But we weren't the same. I could hear the forest breathe now. I could feel emotions before they were spoken. My senses were wrong, but wrong in a way that felt like truth. I was still human, but also something else. Something born from her. From us. We didn't make it far before we were found. Not by enemies. By seers. Again. This time they didn't float. They bowed. "The rite is sealed," the first said. "The bond is true. The Circulo will not accept this," Erin warned. "Then let them try," the second said. "You are no longer rogue, Erin Kale. You are alpha of your own line now. A new blood has been written into the stone." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means your love changed the order," the third seer said. "And the order must now change for you." They vanished again, but not before placing a mark on Erin's wrist. A glowing crescent. Alpha. Mine. Weeks passed. Then months. We built a home in the North Woods. Others found us, shifters who didn't belong, humans who had bonded but were rejected. Misfits.
Outcasts.
Survivors. We didn't turn them away. We welcomed them. Aaron trained them.
Protected them.
Loved them. I led beside her, not as her shadow, but as her equal. The hollow had changed me, yes, but love had shaped me more. And every night, when the wind howled and the fire burned low, Aaron would whisper, "You saved me." And I would whisper back, "You found me." And the bond between us never faded. It pulsed brighter every time we kissed, every time we touched, every time she looked at me like I was the moon and she was the creature who had waited her whole life to feel its pull. We weren't shifter and human. We weren't prey and predator. We were something new, something forbidden, something sacred. We were mates. We were legend. And nothing, not blood, not law, not even fate, would ever tear us apart again. Thank you so much for being here and for believing in this channel. If you feel in your heart, you can donate with super thanks so I can focus more and more on this project. Your support helps me keep creating these love stories and bringing them to life for you. See you in the next video.